right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
This is found money. I want to parlay it. I want to make a big score. Oh, you mean you want to lose it? You can't just ignore the bet. It's a bet. Bet on the bet. If you lose, you lose the bet. Off the wagon? I think it's off the wagon. I think it's on the wagon.
Welcome back to At the Station, the show where we dig deep into cultural trends in search of the hidden communities within. This week, we'll wrap up our exploration of daily fantasy sports, including giving some follow-up to the story that brought us here in the first place. As always, I'm Jason Zarecki, and alongside me is Nate Boris. Let's board this train.
Let's board it.
Choo-choo. You need a drop for when I say that.
Choo-choo.
Like a brrr.
Okay. Fair enough. Noted.
So, how was your week?
My week has been fantastic. New job.
Yeah, I noticed that when we left the recording last week, you went on Twitter and started talking a lot of crap about how you were going to have the episode up in 24 hours.
Yeah, I got a job, so it kind of hindered my time that I was able to do it, and by the weekend I was just so exhausted that kind of pushed it to the end of the weekend. But the episode's up now for you guys, and
well, if they're listening to this one,
listening to this one, hopefully they'll have listened to the previous.
Yeah, that's just my way of apologizing for the lateness on the last one. I'm blaming it all on Nate. It's understandable in reality. You guys, we put up 2 in a row when we put up the first set of 4, so it's okay.
That don't impress me much.
Shit. All right. So, a new job. You liking it?
I love it.
And if you got one, I'll take a new job whenever.
It's a legit company. I'm very excited, looking forward to the opportunities that have presented themselves to me. I'm very fortunate, so.
Yeah, I had a bit of a slow week. I don't really have any updates whatsoever since the last time we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
For this week in general, we'll be getting into the Daytona 500 and our picks there.
Yeah, we're gonna recap that, right?
Yeah, we'll go over. We'll go over it when we get there. But it was the start of the race season for NASCAR, so we did picks. So we'll talk about that. We'll finish up this is our 4th week of daily fantasies, so we'll.
And the end to our
thoughts.
It's the closure to our first bandwagon.
Yeah, bandwagon
or train. Bandwagon.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit clunky wording.
Yeah.
Because we're jumping on the bandwagon, but we say let's board this train. But like, it's hard to categorize on what it is. But if you have a suggestion of what we should name our monthly segments, drop us a tweet at Station Pod.
Cha-ching.
#Ching. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I didn't really expect you to put in both videos.
Yeah.
But I think it worked well.
You had to put in both because the explanation, I don't think people would have got that it was Seth Green.
Yeah.
From the actual commercial.
And that's what's so funny about it, because like he was in movies and he does Family Guy now. I think everyone knows who he is, and then here he is this like nobody kid getting a random commercial that he then like went viral before the internet existed.
There was he's in an episode. He does like an arc on Entourage as like himself, but he's a giant douchebag, and he tries to hit on one of the main characters' girlfriends, like claiming that he was with her previously, and it's funny because like he talks about how Austin Powers was like his big jumping off point, and it's just like now it's like, no, you were the cha-ching boy.
You know where I remember him from? There was a 90s rom-com, Can't Hardly Wait.
Greg the Bunny too. He was in Greg the Bunny, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that was after Austin Powers.
No way.
Yeah, totally.
Really?
I would put money on it.
So you know how like you know that people do things, and when you think about it in terms of timeline, it kind of gets colluded. So like you might think, oh, this album came out before this one. So I had a moment where I'm just like, wow, really? I thought And Justice for All by Metallica came
Okay.
out after the Black Album, but it didn't. It came out before the Black Album. I mean, they're all good. I mean, I like them all equally. I just didn't know. I'm not a big enough Metallica fan to know, that
when they came
one
out.
came out before the. I know like Kill 'Em All was the first one, and then Master of Puppets, but I didn't know it was And Justice for All and then Black. I thought it was Black and then And Justice for All. Because Enter Sandman seems like a really old song to me, and some of the songs on And Justice for All, like one.
Wait, Enter Sandman's on Injustice for All.
No, Enter Sandman's on Black Album.
Black Album.
Yeah.
Injustice. Yeah, I guess you're right. I thought that was a newer because that's where I was gonna be like, holy shit! Like, how is that? I don't know. I guess I'm just.
I mean, I
I'm
don't
not
get me
on
wrong.
that train,
I love
so-
Metallica, but I guess I don't love them enough to know when their CDs came out. I just know that Saint Anger's bad and that anything pre-Black is good.
Saint Anger's the Walmart album. Does that make sense or no? That doesn't.
Is that
trend?
No, I don't know. Which
I feel like they released one and it was heavily promoted as like for sale at Walmart.
I think that might have been. Well, they were like one of the first bands to do. You buy a concert ticket and you get a free album with it, and then it like drove up their sales.
So that's pretty cool. Is Metallica the band that killed
Napster.
Napster?
Yep.
Do we like them for that?
I mean, somebody had to do it. I mean, I don't think. I hate Lars, but eventually it had to have happened.
Spotify and Pandora seems to be the route that they should have gone from the beginning. And I just think that the whole Napster Metallica lawsuit put a hold on all that. And they sent them back a while.
Remember when we first got Napster? I can remember the first song I downloaded was Nelly Country Grammar. And it took
that makes sense.
It took like
on the
40
dial-up.
It took like 40 minutes to download. And when it downloaded and I was able to play it on the computer and I realized what was happening, that I could get whatever I wanted, it was a wrap after that.
And Nate's life changed that day.
Yeah, and that's when my life changed.
I remember Napster, and then we had Song Spy for a while.
Song Spy was awesome.
And then like those went down, so we had Kazaa and
LimeWire, which were just disease nests of viruses.
Those were bad. Like half of what you would download would be incorrect.
So there was there was Napster, there was Song Spy, there was LimeWire, there was BearShare, there was.
I only remember the first two being really high quality though. Like anything after that,
Kazaa.
It was full of garbage. Kazaa was okay, I think. And then there was like several different copies of LimeWire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Frostwire.
I found out about BitTorrent.
Yeah, torrents.
Yeah, and that was a game changer.
Torrents are crazy because like people can use them for more than just like downloading illegal things. There was something that this is political or something. What was it? The guys who do the secret reports for Donald Trump, the Veritas guys, they recorded like over 400 they released under 400 hours of raw audio from inside CNN headquarters, and they said like, hey, we're not going to be able to listen to this ourselves, so we're going to send it out there. And so someone on Reddit was like, okay, I'm going to start a torrent for this so everyone can just get it easily because their servers like can't handle the load. So like it's crazy that you can do something like that and distribute it to everybody.
Well, it's funny because people hear the word torrent and they just automatically think of illegal shenanigans. But I mean, it was invented for a purpose, and that purpose was exactly what you were saying. Like, say you have a file that you need to share to, thousands of
like
people.
breaks it up
Yep.
and gets pieces from everyone's computer and
Right.
uses everyone's computer as like a server or whatever. I
Right.
don't know how it works. It's magic.
Packets. Yep. But yeah, so
You know what I did do this weekend?
yeah, how was your weekend?
My neighbor had a birthday.
Uh-huh.
So every year he has everyone over for a big poker game. So I actually played poker on Saturday night.
Nice.
I didn't do too bad. $20 buy-in.
Really?
Yeah. I went out at the same time. I was in the final four. I went all in. Another guy went all in. A third guy went all in, and he took us both out.
That's rough.
I don't even remember what my hand was because like I was the first one to be like
All in.
yeah, like under chipped to everybody, and
Yeah.
then they were making bets on the side. really early in the game, I got a really bad beat. I hadn't caught a hand for the first like half hour, 40 minutes. So I got dealt pocket queens. I think I raised, someone re-raised, so I went all in. Does that sound right? I can't remember how it worked. And he called. So I had 2 queens. He had Jack King.
2 pair off the flop.
And then he got a flop with a Jack and a King came out. So everyone at the table was like just waiting for him to take it. And I think I caught a 10 on the last card and I got it straight. I felt so bad for him at that. Like I couldn't even look at him because like when the cards came out, like he had known that he won and he got so excited. It's like, oh, there's a straight. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
right.
bad. That's dirty.
I always hate when I push my chips in and then everybody else decides that they have a good hand too.
Yeah,
and then you're
right?
just like, wow.
That's how I ended up losing. I kept on calling people's all in because they were just throwing garbage out there. And after so much time at a party, I don't want to be sitting at the poker table anymore. So I was okay getting out. It was $20. It's free beer and food for the night. So who cares?
I love poker. What else you got?
I got the tiniest little bit of news.
Yeah.
Hey, so my phone popped up with an alert today. Were the Cubs and Sox playing a game today?
Maybe in spring training.
That's what I was gonna say. Is spring training started?
Yeah, it's definitely started.
That's crazy. Like it feels like the season just ended.
Got to train the rain. We gotta hold our crown.
Do they play against each other in spring training a lot? Like, cause like that seems like a game people would want to go to, whether or not it was training.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. It says the final was 4-4, so that doesn't sound like a fun game. Right? They didn't even play it out. Okay, so that was my question there. Hey, we got that board bet going for the movies.
Oh yeah.
So I
picked Get Out as
Yeah.
my original movie, and right now, let me actually
it's
double.
it's also in the news. I guess Chance the Rapper, best new artist according to the Grammys.
Uh-huh.
He rented out a whole theater in Chicago and is giving out free tickets to anyone who wants to come see it because that's how behind the movie he is.
Oh, it finally happened. Get Out is finally at a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is absolutely crazy because
It's ridiculous.
It held 100% for the entire weekend, and I'm not sure any movie in history has ever done that. It was a $4 million budget movie directed by Jordan Peele, the guy from Key and Peele.
That's what I wanted to ask.
And
okay.
it's a movie that he had in his mind for about 7 years now. And from what I understand, the premise is a white girl has an African-American boyfriend, and she wants to take him to her house to meet her parents. And apparently a bunch of crazy shit happens, and it got very racist tones to it.
Yeah, it feels like new school horror, I think we had
Yes.
talked about.
And it's did we talk about it on the Remakes and Reboot podcast?
I think we brought it up. I can't even remember at this point.
It's you guys should go see it. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow night, I think.
Yeah, I'm a shit because Nate tried to talk me into going on Friday night. It was like 7:00, and he's, oh yeah, the movie starts at 8. Like, I'll just come over, we'll go. I don't feel like going out tonight.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, we'll get there. So like that's surprising because part of our board bet is we bet on which remake and reboot is going to do best, which sequel is going to do best, and then out of original movies for the year, which one's going to have the highest score on Rotten Tomatoes. So at 99%, you're leading that leg.
Yeah, it's that's a pretty good number. And it's got the next one up in theaters right now is Lego Batman at 91.
Well, I think for sequels, we're going with who gets the highest
box office score.
Well, yeah, for sequels, we wanted to try to do something with how it relates to the original.
And it has to beat the original.
It has to. Well, if neither of them beat the original, it's just going to be whoever's highest, I would
Yes.
assume, or whoever gets closest. I guess we
Correct.
go by like a percent wise. Who knows? Yeah, but that'll be interesting. I need some wins on the board bets.
No, you don't.
Well, where were we? Like last week? When we started last week, I was up
0-2. You're up 2-0.
2-0.
Yep.
We're sitting here right now, and what's the score?
Tied.
Are you sure it's 2-2?
I'm pretty sure it's 2-2.
Because you put on Twitter it was 3-2 with a little celebration.
Oh yeah, no, I am up.
Yeah,
It
because
is-
you got 2 weeks of DFS and you got the Mario Kart race from last week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm struggling here. I still got my girls on The Bachelor working for me. I got these movies coming up, and we'll see where the rest takes us. Hopefully, Serial pulls it out for me.
No, score's 2-2.
Well, what do we got?
It's 2-2. You won the board bet on the Super Bowl commercials.
Yep.
First week of DraftKings.
Yep.
I won the Mario Kart race.
Yep.
And then the MMA.
And NASCAR.
Oh yeah, and NASCAR, but that's not up yet.
Yeah, we're
We're gonna go in. That's
discuss,
the second half.
yeah, it's officially 3-2.
Officially.
I'm slacking.
Yep.
So I gotta get back in there. Did you watch the Oscars last night?
Okay. So, I was watching the Oscars, and as most of you know, I like to gamble. I tweeted or I posted on.
How do you gamble on the Oscars?
You pick
Like,
who you think.
Seriously, how do you bet money on an award show?
You know, there's odds and favorites, and
So
I had a really good night, except for Denzel Washington. He got snubbed for Best Actor. So after that happened, I stopped watching. But apparently, I should have kept watching
because there was major news.
because apparently some shit went down
They
last
dropped
night.
the ball.
Like huge. So me and Jay were getting ready for the
Tonight show.
for the show, and we were watching highlight videos and getting all of our notes, and we watched the Oscar ending, and I thought that hey, maybe they just said La La Land won. Oh wait, I'm sorry, Moonlight won. Nope, they said La La Land. And then like 4 people were like, I love you, thank you so much, I want to thank this person, and then
They got like the whole team up there. There was like 10 or 15 people up there as they're passing the Oscar around, thanking everyone. They just let him go.
Yeah.
For the longest time.
I couldn't believe it.
I wanted us to play the clip and talk over it, but it's just like now knowing what happened, it's just so awkward.
Yeah.
And sad.
Like, well, because I have a pretty long drive to work now, so I listen to sports talk radio every morning, and Mike on ESPN 1000 were talking, and they basically were like making a huge deal about it, and I'm just like, it couldn't have been that big of a deal. I'm like, I get people make mistakes, but I didn't get how bad it was until I came home and we watched that video.
Yeah, no, hearing about it, I thought it was a publicity stunt. Even when people were like, oh, no, there's no way it's a publicity stunt. And then watching it is a completely different feeling.
I was like cringing because of how long it was taking for somebody to go up there and
they
say
just let
that
them keep
Moonlight
going.
won. And I'm just like, oh my God. He's just going. He's just going on and keeping talking.
And then every time
They're just letting it
every
happen.
time you think it's over, it goes on even further.
And then it's so funny because somebody steps in after the first guy speaks, and I'm like, oh, thank God, they're going to end it.
Yep.
Nope. Another guy's with his thank you speech, ready to go. So funny.
Oh man, it was bad. And then at the end, a guy's giving his speech like right after he's been told that they didn't win, and really salty, he goes in the microphone like, I just wanted to thank everybody, but we didn't win. And then he like walks away, and the director has to step in and be cool. He was really cool about it though.
Yeah, he took it very well for something like that. I mean, how do you let that happen?
We kind of turned it off a little early, but did they even get to have a good speech? Because the La La Land people talked for a solid 3 or 4 minutes, and then it seemed like by the time that Moonlight went up there, they had no more time to do anything. All right, well, we said we weren't gonna watch it, but do you want to check out the clip of the?
Yeah, we might as well,
Yeah.
right?
I guess so. It's bad. I'm warning you. But
All right.
Yeah, let's
so
cue it up.
For those of you that live under a shell, here's what happened last night.
So, who are the people?
It's Wayne, I'm sorry, it's Faye Dunaway and
Warren Beatty.
And the Academy Award.
So,
See,
so
that's
right
where
now,
he sees it, and he knows something's wrong.
right.
La La Land.
So she sees Emma Stone's name and La La Land underneath.
La La Land.
This is what I don't get. Like, listening to the announcer, who's saying this? Like, it's set up as if they were already knew that this person was going to win.
That's why they think it's a conspiracy. But like the thing is now that's not accurate because it didn't win. So,
right? It's like internet treasure.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they're all.
Thank you all.
This is the main award, so like they're all up there. He's giving his speech.
Thank you to our incredible
Like,
cast and
this
crew.
is
We're all up
the
here right
apex
now.
of the night.
Right.
Thank you to Jamie Feldman, to Gary
The
Gilbert.
whole film crew's
Thank
up
you,
there, which I
to
thought
my
is weird
parents
because do they
for
not know they're
supporting
going to win ahead of
my
time?
choice to
No.
They don't
pursue a
tell 'em?
career in
No.
the arts, even though it was a little bit crazy.
Oh, this is sad.
Arthur Horowitz, you are my fantasy baby. And to my kind, generous, talented, beautiful,
Look, Emma
blue-eyed
Stone's
wife
crying.
and creative partner,
I
Julia
couldn't
Hart,
tell because she looks
you have,
a little bit
inspired me to become the
disinterested.
man I am.
And if you
or
think
maybe
it's
she's
happening,
just overwhelmed with emotion.
more
and if you
important than the man
think
I'm still
it's happening now, like they find out now, no, it's gonna keep
There's
going.
a lot of love in this room, and let's use it to create and champion bold and diverse work.
You know, I like
work
this
that
guy.
inspires us
He's a
towards
nice guy.
joy.
He does. Like,
towards hope,
listening to him
and towards
later,
empathy.
he comes back around. He just seems like a genuine dude.
Here's to the fools who
I
made
thought
me
that this
dream,
was the
my
guy
Uncle
that was
Gary
like,
Clark,
Coming in to
Moonlight.
say, like, I'm
mentor
sorry,
Sean
we
Combs,
messed up.
Nope.
My parents, my children, my
Another
wife,
speech.
Julie, on whose shoulders I've stood for 40 years because she insisted I reach for the stars.
It's
and to
sad
the
'cause this
Hollywood
is the
community that
pinnacle
I'm
of
so
his
proud to be a
career.
part of,
Right.
and to the
Like,
Hollywood
he's
and
so
the
proud
hearts
of
and minds
himself at this
people
moment. He's worked
everywhere.
his whole life for this.
Repression
Look,
is
now the
enemy
people are
of
running in the back.
civilization. So keep dreaming, because the dreams we dream today will provide the love, the
feels so
compassion, and the humanity that will
Look,
narrate
they're
the
running over
stories
to
of our
Emma
lives
Stone now to
tomorrow.
grab the card. And then another guy comes up.
It's the love of my life, Ali Lowy. I'm up here because of you. I love you so much.
This is the guy that gets
My
mad though.
family, maman, papa, Jeff, hommage vous adore.
Yeah, when they start grabbing the
Fluff,
Oscars out of their
kick this
hands.
off.
Yeah.
And Damien Chazelle, we're standing on your shoulders.
You can hear him.
We lost, by the way, but you know.
Guys, I'm sorry. No.
Salty.
Yep.
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
This is not a joke.
Class act.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing. This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture.
That is just so awkward.
I like what he says next, though.
Best Picture.
How he wants to hand it to him.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just feel honored to be able to give it to my friends.
And then Jimmy Kimmel tries to save it.
I don't know. I like Jimmy Kimmel. I think he did a good job all night. Normally, like, people shit all over the host, too. I haven't said...
Personally, I blame Steve Harvey for this. I would like to see you get an Oscar anyway. Why can't we just give out a whole bunch of them? I'm gonna be really
Oh yeah, so Steve Harvey tweeted out last night. He's like, "So I fell asleep early last night. Did I miss anything?"
Did anything happen?
Hello.
Okay, and now he comes out and takes the blame for it.
Right.
But, like, the other lady just seemed
Well, he-
so out of it. Like, he
Right.
was trying to tell her that it was a wrong
I
card.
wanted to tell you what happened. I opened the envelope, and it said, Emma Stone, La La Land. That's why I took such a long look.
'Cause she
at
won-
Faye.
Because she won Best
Yeah,
Actress.
she won actress,
I
so
wasn't
it was
trying
a
to be
duplicate
funny.
card.
Well, you were funny. That
Thank
was
you
that.
very
He
much.
probably
Thank
feels
you very
really
much.
bad now.
Yeah.
This is Moonlight, the best picture.
Oh, and now we're going to go to credits. All right, they don't get to speak.
And cut him off.
God, and you thought, like, the beauty pageant thing was the worst, most awkward thing that could happen, but this is worse because these are definitely professionals. Like,
Yeah.
everyone here is a professional,
Right.
like, announcer,
Very clearly.
actor, whatever.
Very clearly, even in my dreams, this could not be true. But to hell with dreams. I'm done with it because this is true. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I guess if you're,
Mhm.
I mean, that's brutal.
That's something else. I don't know.
I mean, that wasn't even one of the biggest scandals of the night. I mean, there's
Scandals?
that wasn't even one of the biggest screw ups of the
Screw-ups.
night. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so what else?
So during the Oscars, they do an in memoriam, and you know what that is, right? There was a really world-renowned costume designer, Janet Patterson, She had passed away, I believe, in October of last year.
Okay.
And so she was being honored on the Oscars. And so if you look at, I'm showing Jay this picture right now.
It's
if
not
you
her.
look at, that's not her. That's an Australian film producer who has worked with Janet Patterson, but she is very much alive.
I hope
mean,
someone got fired. For
how
that
do you
blunder.
screw that up?
Yeah, right.
Like, that's a
You don't.
That's a big
fact check
deal.
it before you go in there. You didn't look at 3 or 4 pictures of
get-
her before
I-
you cut that out to
I
put it
get
on the
that their
slide.
names are similar, Jan Chapman and Janet Patterson, but you can't screw that up. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I want to circle back to the Oscars in a second. But speaking of people who died, did you see Bill Paxton died?
Yeah.
It's sad because he wasn't like old or like in bad shape. He died from complications of surgery, which is really scary.
What's your favorite Bill Paxton movie?
Just Twister, because I can't remember any of the other ones. He was in like Aliens.
He was in Aliens, Titanic.
Titanic.
Yeah.
Who was he?
He was the I think he was in Titanic. Yeah, he was Brock Lovett. He was the treasure diver.
Oh yeah, okay, I know exactly who he is. Yeah, that makes sense.
What
I think I've seen Twister probably more than the other ones.
He was in
especially
Weird-
because my wife loves that movie.
Weird Science?
I felt really bad at first because when my wife said, "Oh, Bill Paxton," I was like, "Oh, the president from Independence Day." But that's the mistake that everyone makes, and I always like have said like, "How do you get that wrong?"
Right.
But, yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, that's pretty sad.
No, it was complications from surgery, which is scary.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he
Well,
was
that's why they call it practice when they practice medicine.
Ooh. All right. That doesn't make me feel very good.
I'm sorry.
I don't think we're allowed to talk about any medical things anymore after the dentist with the electric drill from last week. I got some flack for that. The only other thing I wanted to say about the Oscars was during the opening monologue. Well, Jimmy Kimmel's opening monologue was really good to begin with, but did you see where he was making fun of his ongoing joke with Matt Damon?
Yes.
Have you seen that like going forward? So he has I think everyone knows, but he has this joke with Matt Damon where whenever he does his show, he'll say, "Oh, sorry to Matt Damon, where he wasn't able to make it on tonight."
Yeah.
And then he even took it as far as when Matt Damon was actually scheduled to be on his show, he bumped him and he never had him.
That was
come out.
That was a fake.
Well, it seems like it's all fake.
Well,
Like, they're friends.
right, but no. What happened on that one was he was like, what he did was he brought Matt Damon out, right, and he sits him down and he's like, "Oh, thank you. You guys know him from Good Will Hunting, Dogma," and he just goes down his entire movie catalog, and he goes on for like 5 minutes, and then he's like, "Matt Damon." And he's like, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but we're completely out of time. Can you come back next week? And then he goes off on a tirade. And people thought that was real, but that was staged.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
It's really
that they
funny,
do it.
though. Yeah. That episode was so funny. Because he even gets to the point to where, well, he's an actor. He's Matt Damon. But, like, he's like, "You don't do that to people." And he's, like, slamming the table. And it looked so real.
I think they, like, cut to the credits, too. Or, like, they overlay them. So he's just freaking out in the background.
Well, I knew it was fake when he's walking out. And then the guy, the big fat guy that kind of walks people in.
Okay.
He was laughing. So when he was laughing, I knew that it was a joke. But it was still one of the best YouTube videos I've ever seen. It's so funny. And then they did the songs.
Oh, yeah, with Sarah Silverman.
Yep.
Can I give you a hot take? I can't stand her.
Me either.
For the life of me.
Me either. You know how old she is?
I don't even care.
If I had a gun to your head and I said over 40, under 40, how old?
I was going to say mid-40s, so I'll go under 50.
Jonah Hill makes fun of her on the roast. He's like, "Oh, Sarah, how does it feel to not be able to have babies and not be funny?"
Well, like, one of the worst parts about her is she's always on Doug Loves Movies, which is a podcast with Doug Benson. It's just like, it's like a game show thing that he puts on. It's not a real game show, but she's always on, and she's super annoying throughout the whole thing. I don't know how anyone's friends with her.
I like Doug Benson. He's pretty funny.
We saw him in Chicago when he came one year, and he was just doing stand up. He wasn't doing the Leonard Maltin game or anything.
Was he stoned?
Yeah. I think he came out with like a newspaper and was like, let's just read off the headline or something. Yeah, that was a good time. Okay. The only other news item I have, which we're not going to talk about, CNN is now banned from the White House for being fake news.
Yep. So there was keep talking about it.
I didn't look into it any further. It's crazy that like CNN is biased as hell, and no matter what Trump and the Republicans do, they're against him. No matter what, they slur the headlines to make it sound the way they want it to sound. They make people sound worse than they really are. So they're banned from the White House. At the same time, Trump trusts Breitbart, which does the exact same thing on the other side.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, none of it makes any sense. I don't know, but I think both sides are insane. It's hard to go with any of them. Politics, we're on this weird ass roller coaster currently, where I don't even look at any of the headlines anymore if it has Trump or White House or anything in it, because I just get so mad at both sides, mostly because half the, like, we talked about this on the first episode, where I'm an apologist for Trump because half of what they say that he does is taking everything he says out of context. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, every time he says something that's hyperbole, they take it as literal. And then every time he says something, I don't know.
Like, you can never win with it.
You can't. Anything he does is wrong no matter what. Like, every single thing. And then, I don't know, what if he's in bed with Russia? Like, what are we going to do? Who?
You're the puppet. You're the puppet. I'm not the puppet. You're the puppet.
Look at the top thread in politics on Reddit is, quote, what happened in your state last week? Mega thread, week 9. I don't know.
Well, what's his name? Sean Spicer came out and said that, they're going to crack down on...
he was checking their phones, right? Did you see that?
What?
Sean Spicer called a meeting for the White House staff, and he said, like, I'm sick and tired of these leaks. Let me see everyone's phones to see who's leaking to the media. Don't tell anyone I did this. And 45 minutes later, that story got leaked.
Yeah.
Problem is, I don't know if that's true or not.
It might be. It's fake news.
It's fake news.
So
you're pathetic.
You're pathetic. Ooh.
You're a puppet.
Yeah. I'm not the puppet. I'm not the puppet. You're the puppet. So we can. We're gonna kind of.
God, I love Donald Trump.
Just the stuff he says is ridiculous.
Just in general.
We're gonna take a break, and we'll come back and we'll recap our last week of DFS with the Daytona 500 and our results on how I kicked Jay's ass.
That's debatable.
Look at the 21 coming on the inside to give him a big push. Where'd he come from?
Ryan Blaney from the back with Logano. Blaney
42's out of
gas.
42's out of gas.
Who else is going to run out fuel?
21 is, I'm not so sure. Well, I think he's okay. He's still going.
Now, if the 47 can get up behind the 21, give him a push, he might get there, but I don't know. I think this might be Kurt Busch's day.
Looks like he's going to come home a winner.
Kurt Busch has been the bridesmaid in the Daytona 500. Here they come off turn 4 for the final time. From Las Vegas, the 2004 champion of the series, Kurt Busch, for Gene Haas and Tony Stewart, wins the Daytona 500.
Wow. First time he's won the 500. What about
All
that?
right, what you just heard were clips from the Daytona 500. This was the race for NASCAR that opened their season.
What do they call it?
So they kept referring to it as the Super Bowl of NASCAR, which
Why do you have such a hot take on this?
it just doesn't make any sense that the Super Bowl would be the first event of the season. You know, like that's normally your big finish, right?
Right.
It's hey, the World Series is going to be first, and then we're going to play a whole season of nothing. So have fun watching that.
I like the Daytona. It was okay.
Is there any other big name races outside of the Daytona 500 and
Indianapolis
Indy
500?
Does that take place at the end? Is it better?
No.
I think here's where we were confused on, probably not last week, but before. We were saying, like, does the Daytona 500 mean 500 laps? It doesn't, but it doesn't because I think each lap is a mile and a half long.
Right.
So it's 500 miles.
Right.
At Indy, I think the track is a mile long, so that's why they do 500 laps.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
That's not what you said.
Yes,
it is absolutely not what you
is.
said. I don't think you had it on tape.
Well, of course not.
No, but that is not what you said.
I've got Final Cut power.
Yeah. So the Daytona 500 pretty much should have been called the
Daytona 200.
Shithole 500.
The Shithole 500.
It was a weird race.
I don't really like NASCAR.
I tuned in throughout the day to bits and pieces. It was definitely entertaining. But by the end of the race, half the field was had crashed and did not finish.
I like NASCAR when I have money on the line, though.
I did not like having money on this race because half my picks were blown up.
Danica Patrick, she was doing good, and then she got in a car accident because she's a woman.
I don't even know if Dale Earnhardt Jr. did well at all because he crashed pretty early on from a high position and scored me negative 24 points on our head-to-head.
He was one of the highest priced racers.
I think he was the highest price racer.
No, it was... There was one more. I think it was Chase Elliott or Brad Keselowski. I know one of them was 10-something.
I don't know. So let's see. Dale Earnhardt was 10,600. Keselowski was 10,300.
How much was Kevin Harvick? Or Chase Elliott?
Elliott was 9,000. Harvick was 9,700. Yeah, no, I think he was the highest.
And you picked him, and he failed for you.
Yeah, I should have picked. Well, how about this? Congratulations to Kurt Busch for pulling it off a victory at the end.
Because
also pulling out magic in the last lap and fading all my guys to the back.
Yeah, because two people, Kyle Larson and
Okay, so here's what happened. 10 laps from the finish. Busch was probably 15th or 12th, like started building a little bit, but was nowhere to be seen. All of our guys in our lineups were like the first 5.
Right.
All of a sudden, Busch pulls out and does this massive run to the front, and our guys try to race him, and they run out of gas and drop down.
They literally ran out of gas.
Chase
like
Elliott,
not like effort gas, like legit.
Yeah, their car
gas.
ran out.
Literally,
Chase
ran
Elliott
out of
went
gas.
from first to 14th.
I had
because he ran out of gas.
I had Chase Elliott in like almost every one of my lineups.
I had Matt Turks Jr., who was in second going into that last lap. He finished 13th.
I don't even know how that happened.
Logano dropped back pretty early in the last 5 laps and never recovered. But yeah, I don't know. It was a crazy day.
Yeah, NASCAR is a weird sport too.
Well, once your driver gets a does not finish, you're pretty much done. It just ruins your whole day.
Unless it's at the end of the race.
You know what I'm interested in? Who scored the most points driver-wise?
It had to have been Kurt Busch.
I would think so. We didn't have him. We had a pretty lousy showing.
Yeah.
Nate beat me on the head-to-head by 5.5 points.
Yep. So that's another win for me.
You can put it on the board. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you were ahead by 5.5 points, but overall, in any of the tournaments, you wouldn't even place for money.
Yeah. So that was another win for me.
You can put it on the board. Yes.
All right, that's fine. You can take that one. Problem is, you might have beat me, but if we would have went in on any of the tournaments, you wouldn't even have made any money.
I didn't win any money.
No,
I was in a few.
I did not place in a single one. The closest one I got was the free tournament that we picked. Picked.
Yeah.
In that one, I got 6,370th place.
Did you win money?
Money started at 4,479. So I was close, but still pretty far away.
Yep.
It was a bad day. I don't know. I was upset with Dale Earnhardt. Chase Elliott and Turex ran out of gas for me. I did not pick Kurt Busch. I didn't pick Kurt Busch because I don't like picking like the popular picks.
Mm-hmm.
And that just did me in that time.
So that kind of wraps up the Daytona.
Well, that will wrap up our whole bandwagon.
No, yeah, I was gonna I had some questions for you since obviously I played daily fantasy regularly.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on DFS now, having done it for a solid month?
I am definitely kind of on the fence. I can see myself playing in the future. I really enjoyed being able to go in, learn about the players that I'm picking, spend some time in there, and then be able to get myself invested in the game, make things exciting. I had a lot of fun with MMA, probably because that's the easiest to start from scratch and then go in and watch. Daytona was interesting only because like I made sure to pick guys who would be in the front of the pack. So while we're watching, my guys are up front. Without it, I can never see myself watching sports just because it's not my ish.
Right. There's going to be a pay-per-view coming up for UFC. We should do a DraftKings tournament for a board bet.
For this week or
no?
When it comes up. Yeah. So how this bandwagon stuff works is right now we just jumped on the DFS bandwagon for 4 weeks. So we've drug you guys through sports. From the nature of who we are and who Nate is, sports will come up from time to time, but we'll kind of tone it down as we move into our next couple wagons and hit what's popular. But
it's not going to be a sports podcast. We want that to be known.
Well, what I was saying is we'll probably circle back to DFS picks and tournaments as we go through board bets, or if there's a big event coming up that we want to cover. I enjoyed it enough to keep my account open and to put money in it every once in a while. The only thing that I cannot stand, and I brought this up once or twice during the weeks, is nothing's over until it's over. Like, it's not into those final moments of the game that you figure out if you win or lose, and you can just do so well the whole time and then lose it all in a second. It's so frustrating to get to that point.
So I'm going to tell you the story of how I got the adrenaline rush of DraftKings and what kickstarted me into being like, wow, this is awesome. So it was like one of my first weeks doing football, and it was back when the Millionaire Maker was big deal. Like, they only did a few of them. So I had a lineup in the Millionaire Maker, and I had a pretty good lineup. I think it was one of the weeks D'Angelo Williams was the running back over Le'Veon Bell, so he was really low price, so you were able to do a lot of stuff with your lineup. And I think I had close to like 300 points going into the Monday night game, and I had Dante Moncrief on the Indianapolis Colts left to play. And I just remember watching that game, and every single ball that he caught, I just went up like $100. Every ball he caught.
Oh, like your little pool.
Yeah, my currently winning. And I noticed that at that point, like, I was actually playing for real money. I ended up winning like $1,200 on it, I think. That was everything. I was like, wow, this is awesome that you can do this, and I was hooked instantly after that.
I had a little bit of fun. It definitely wasn't bad. I did notice that after doing my research, every YouTube suggestion I have now is either MMA or NASCAR or clips of
sports,
basketball,
something
dudes doing
sports
basketball
related
stuff. Yeah, that's okay. I can deal with that. I mean those are my thoughts overall. Did
Yeah, I got some more.
Well, my question for you was, you probably normally stick to basketball and football. We just did a week of MMA and NASCAR. Was that any different from your normal playing? Was it more fun, less fun?
Yeah, I don't typically do MMA. So
was it hard for you to get into then?
It was harder for me to. So if you guys didn't listen to the first episode that we talked about daily fantasy, I kind of broke it down into strategies, and I kind of gave you the rule of thumb is that you have to be able to break any rule and habit that you have. You have to be able to know when to break those rules. And it's difficult when I want to research the way I research for football, how I do for basketball. Now, obviously, I feel like I've crafted my skill enough to know how to research for football and how to research for basketball. I'm very successful at DFS for those sports. But when it comes to MMA, I don't know how to research for it. I just know how to search, those fighters, see their last fights, and go from there. I'm sure there's other ways to do it as well based on stats and stuff like that, but I mean, it's just something that I'll have to work on. But if I do branch out, because baseball's coming up, so I'm going to be in baseball too. So it just never ends with DraftKings for me. It's, football.
Well, you got something to bet on all year round.
Yeah, football, and then basketball overlaps it and goes right into baseball. And then when baseball's done, that overlaps football. And then it's just the best cycle ever.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fun for me. I'll keep playing. I don't know if I'll get in on a lot of baseball games and football games because, like I said, it's just so hard to individually follow all the players and know who you want to pick. Like my main strategy for our last 2 weeks, which, I mean, MMA I did well, NASCAR I didn't. If my picks would have went through. And I wouldn't have had people who did not finish, I would have done pretty well. I think I would have won money, but I think that's just how NASCAR goes. There's a lot of variance in there. But my overall strategy, which I think was pretty solid, was I would start by finding who were the most talked about players.
Right.
And then from there, I would make decisions on whether or not I wanted them for their price point. And I mean that did me really well. Like one of my last picks for NASCAR was the Matt DiBurrito, and he was someone that I didn't hear anyone talking about until the last minute, and then he ended up placing 9th and scoring me 53 points. So that was a good pickup, and that was something that it didn't seem to be on many people's radars until I really did the research. I don't know. We'll see. I was kind of overwhelmed with basketball. I was hoping we'd be able to get back in it. So we're definitely we definitely need to jump back into basketball when there's a game to play. Because I have I think I re-listened to the first 2 episodes with the first one where we went over the overview, and then the second one where we talked about strategy with Brandon. I went through and I just took notes upon notes, getting ready to pick my team for basketball, and then we didn't play for 2 weeks.
Right.
So, that'll almost wrap us for DFS.
Yeah, it's a short episode. We wanted to keep it.
I got some news.
Yeah, go ahead.
DFS. So what brought us here in the first place was Fantasy Aces, which was one of the big three. One of the big three. Daily fantasy websites. They went bankrupt as they were trying to sell their company, and they were unable to pay for player bankrolls. They were using player money to pay for operational costs. They were mixing bank accounts, and they shit the bed.
Yep.
So last week it came out that Fantasy Draft, an up-and-coming website, is going to take over for Fantasy Aces and pay for all the players' lost bankrolls up to $1,000. And anything above that, they'll pay out as credits on the website. So everyone's going to get their money.
Yep.
So we in the first episode we talked like it's shitty for those people. Like they just lost, but I guess that's the name of the game. But they actually it's gonna end up
working out for them.
Yeah.
So
they're not gonna lose out 100%.
So in the long run, daily fantasy is here to stay.
I guess if you get bought out like that, it's no one's going under anytime soon.
Nope.
You know, like we just saw one of the big three go under, and it got scooped up and paid for, no problem. Yahoo, I know, I mean, this is something I read it early on, but Yahoo like wants to be a major player in the DFS.
Yes,
and
but they don't.
They're not even the ones who bought Fantasy Aces, and that would have been a perfect opportunity for them.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, no matter where you sit, you have the opportunity to, like, no one's going under. Like, there's the it's going to be there. There's no losing out.
Right. So did you want a rematch at Mario Kart for another board bet chance to kind of tie the score?
We can. As far as other orders of business before we get there, is there anything going on with The Bachelor right now?
We watched it tonight. Well, the end, I guess. And there was no rose ceremony again.
Okay. So we started The Bachelor bet 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And I swear we looked up when the final episode was going to be, and it was tonight.
It was supposed to be, I thought.
Yeah.
But apparently there's going to be like 3 more episodes.
Yeah, so that's why we watched last week's episode to prepare us for that. We were going to have the big final ceremony tonight. We are going to see who won and who lost, and maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I don't even know.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's ridiculous.
I know, it's crazy. But yeah, so we'll keep you guys posted on that. Or obviously it's a show, so you guys will know as well. But our picks are posted on the board bet site or board bet.
I feel good about that one. I feel like I'm going to come back. I'm down and out right now. I'm about to be down one more when we go and play Mario Kart.
Yeah, but you can loser picks, so you get to pick.
If you didn't see last week, we posted a video of us playing on YouTube.
Yeah, it's posted on our Twitter.
Yeah, I think probably the easiest way to find all of our stuff is
Twitter.
Yeah, you got us on Twitter. That's @StationPod, or if you go to our website's www.atthestationpodcast.com. From there, you can portal to anywhere you need to go.
That's what she said.
That doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't even make sense. So that will pretty much wrap us up for our first bandwagon. How do you feel?
Feel pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited to get onto some new things, maybe get something in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm more excited for next week's episode, where we will be joined by 3 special guests to discuss the infamous podcast known as Serial. Should be very good.
I know we kind of touched on this before, but there was big news last week in the Serial case.
Yeah.
Both sides are going to appeal, and both sides were granted the appeal. So the state is going in on Adnan. Adnan's going in on the state. We were discussing off air whether or not that Jay Wilds is going to have to go on the stand.
Yeah, I actually I don't know if any of you follow or go on Reddit, but there's a big subreddit for the Serial podcast, and I actually had a question because I wasn't concerned, but I had a question regarding the retrial, and basically the question was, what's going to happen if there is a retrial? Will Jay have to retestify? And I ask that because he, since all of the things that have happened, has come out in Forbes, I believe. And
well, it wasn't an Inquirer article?
Oh, yeah, the Inquirer.
The Inquirer article.
And he did an interview, which if you read that article, it basically he retracts everything that he said
again. He contradicts every single prior timeline.
Again. Yeah.
There's a good comic out there where it's like 2 people are listening to it, and the guy's like, okay, I know how to get to the bottom of this. There's 7 timelines. All we have to do is interview Jay and get the correct timeline.
I'm still trending first front page on the serial.
and then it cuts. We now have 8 timelines.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you talk to
Yes.
Jay, it's a new story.
Exactly. That's the funniest picture.
If he goes up again and tells some garbage and there's a competent jury, I would think he'd be found innocent.
You do?
So
hold on.
No.
Let's do this. We're gonna make another board bet.
Okay, that's fine.
You think that he's gonna be innocent?
No, I didn't say whether or not he's innocent. I said with the
new trial.
I said with the evidence that they have,
Currently.
they do not have enough to convict him as guilty.
Currently.
Or forever. They've never shown anything. So he's going to be found innocent.
Then
he's
why
going to
won't
have to be acquitted?
Why won't he allow them to test the DNA?
Because he did it. Right?
Right?
I don't know. Okay. But do you disagree with me that he should never have been found guilty for what they presented?
Okay, so
it doesn't matter what you think whether or not he's innocent. or guilty,
this is
those
what
are
I'm going to
different
say.
questions.
This is what I'm going to say. I don't think he should have been sentenced to life in prison. I don't think that there was enough evidence to convict him initially, but I don't think there's enough evidence to let this man out of jail. I understand that a wrong has happened, but it's happened. So in order to undo that, it's just like the NFL. Hold on, let me explain. It's just like the NFL. You throw a challenge flag, in arguments on the ref's call, there has to be 100% without a doubt proof that it happened. And if there's any slightest bit of notion that it didn't happen, or that it maybe was a catch or maybe it wasn't, it's not. It has to be 100% clear-cut evidence.
Okay, I get that, but normally how the criminal justice system works is you're innocent first, and then they prove you guilty. Here, he was put in jail without enough evidence to clearly prove him guilty. I guess he was found guilty twice. There was a mistrial and then an actual trial.
The cell phone pings.
But it's fake news.
Cell phone.
It's fake news. That was discredited as evidence a long time ago.
That's not true.
They can't rely on the cell phone pings.
Yes, they can.
There's experts who have came out that said that they were wrong on their initial studies.
There's also experts that came out and said that the world was flat.
Well, the world is flat.
Oh my.
We'll talk about that later.
Oh man.
I'm just saying. I don't think he should be in jail. I think he should have been found innocent and acquitted of the charges. And you know what? That's the position I'm going to take.
And
I'm going to take both. I'm going to take that they didn't have enough evidence to find him guilty because he is innocent of the crime, and that's going to be my stance.
He's guilty.
All right.
Without a doubt.
We'll figure that out next week.
And we will also, at the end of that episode, drop our new bandwagon for you guys. That way, you'll know what train we're going to be hopping on.
We have a good set coming up. I don't know if we explained it before, but we're going to kind of run on a monthly basis. I know we're kind of going over half January, half February, and next one's going to be half February, half March. We'll catch up eventually, so it's all in 1 month. But it's what we're aiming for is 4 shows per bandwagon. So we'll grab a topic and we'll do 4 different shows on it. Like how this one was, we did an intro to DFS, and then we played 3 weeks of DFS with some intermittent discussion in between. That's kind of how we'll play it. We got some good ideas, some nice topics going forward. So
perfect.
Yeah.
You got anything else to close it out?
I really don't. Yeah, it's a nice short episode this week. I hope you enjoyed all of our previous ones. If you have any comments or suggestions about the direction we should go with our show, feel free to drop us a line. Our public email address is stationpod@gmail.com. As always, you can find us on Twitter, and we got a website. You can look at each of us up individually. And that'll do it for me.
Perfect. So stay tuned for next week. I'm really looking forward to the Serial podcast. It's gonna get heated, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. But aside from that, if you got nothing, we appreciate you guys listening. For Jay, I'm Nathan. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.